Good morning, Pastor Curt here. I want to draw your attention to John 1, verse 39. At the very beginning of Jesus' ministry, an interesting question is asked. The disciples of John the Baptist come to him and they say, "Lord, where are you staying?" And Jesus replies and says, "Come and you will see." Our God is the God who invites us into a small group with him, into relationship, into close proximity. How did Jesus change lives? Watch this. You know, it's a super interesting thing to do biblically, is to ask the question, where did Jesus spend his time? How did Jesus make up his schedule? If you look at the challenge, these three challenges, and you say, who is Jesus doing these challenges with? The vast majority of Jesus' time, if this is all of the people in Jesus' life, the vast majority of Jesus' time is spent with just 12 people, the apostles. In fact, scholars have said that at the time that Jesus was crucified, he was only influencing directly 100 to 300 people. He had a very small following at that point, and the biblical record says that the vast majority of his time was spent with the apostles. And of the apostles, he actually spent more time with 3 of them. And of the 3, one of them is called the disciple of whom Jesus loved. Jesus had favorites. Jesus made choices, and he invested in a few so that he could reach the many. Now, there was a whole group of ones that the Bible calls disciples, and those disciples actually learned some. They were kind of in that circle, but most of his time was with the apostles. And then there was a whole nother group that followed him. These were his fans. They're not really dedicated to him. They're looking for bread and a meal. And then there's another large group, many of them that didn't even know he existed, not heard the news. It's called the multitudes. Jesus didn't hate the multitudes. He didn't ignore them on purpose, but he knew the way to change the multitudes was to change a few. Jesus actually, I had someone come to me once time, they said, "Oh, you guys with your small groups, you can't find small groups in the Bible. Small groups is actually something we've made up in the modern church." I'm like, yeah, that's true, unless you study Jesus. This is why we emphasize small groups. You guys, we spend so much time worrying about what this group thinks about us, and they don't even know you exist. This is where you need to spend your time. By the way, business people, this works in your business as well. If you start solving all your problems up here, you'll never run out of problems to solve. You'll never get on mission. You got to actually figure out who are the people you're going to develop here that will be the people that develop the people that develop the people that develop the people. That's what you got to do, and it works in families too. You run around to every single distant family member here. You got to pour into the family members that God has made a priority in your life right here. How did Jesus spend his time? He spent his time with the few.